Welcome back to more NAB 2024 coverage. I'm here with Ryan Kido from Ateliere, and we're going to talk digital supply chain, right?
Absolutely.
So digital supply chain is not the thing that I spend all of my life getting excited about, and yet it seems like in Hollywood these days it's a huge deal. In fact, it's a huge area of technological advancement. And you wouldn't expect that, but it's become a really big issue. You want to share a little bit about why it's so important and what's going on there?
Yeah, no, it's very interesting. I've been in the field for almost 2 decades now, and it's always been sort of very much a back office function and sort of fulfilling a contract if I'm the content owner and getting that to who's licensed that content. And that's traditionally had a lot of time, and there's been the licensing fees have been large enough, so it hasn't been impactful. But I think really what's changing is the nature of the business models. We're going through a huge revolutionary change where broadcast was being augmented by SVOD, but that's not producing enough revenue, so now there's AVOD, and there's other ad-supported technologies like FAST. And so I think that's put a huge pressure on the supply chain, a huge pressure to mobilize more of the library quickly out to consumers, and it has to be done much more cost effectively because the revenue per deal is also dropping. And the other big factor that's happening right now, in sort of my opinion, is the change in production volume, let's say. So post-pandemic, post-strike, the amount of production has tremendously dropped, and the amount of production going forward is sort of an open question. So being able to get the most monetization out of your library has become a much bigger deal. So it's the breadth of distribution, the breadth of different and changing business models, and really making the most out of your library that's actually starting to highlight this function in a studio or a broadcaster.
And would you say at this point you really can't ignore global? Like everyone with any kind of decent reach has to consider global in their overall product strategy, right?
Absolutely. From a revenue perspective, content can't be local, and even if it's locally required in territory, the goal is always to take it to every other territory that you're operating in. And so to get those sort of efficiencies on revenue, that's a must.
And later on today, actually, we're going to interview Respeecher and Deep Dub, and there are a bunch of companies out there that are breaking through that hurdle of getting into other non-English speaking markets, right?
Brilliant technology, absolutely. And I think what's great about that technology is you have these really amazing solutions to tackle problems that probably didn't feel like they were accomplishable in the past. And it's opening new doors, and I think what the opportunity is for a company like Ateliere, so we have a product called Connect, which is a media supply chain and orchestration product, is that we can put into a workflow these amazing pieces of technology. The challenge that we have, I think, is as we have this advancement in technology, is you have these little islands of genius, is the way I like to phrase them. But how do I actually use that? How do I use that individual, let's say, Respeecher-based audio file that's been created, and how do I put that with an asset and then get that to where it needs to be efficiently, again, to address that first problem? And so where we view things is we're not necessarily going to invent every technology. We're going to invent some, but we want to partner with the best of breed and let our customers access the best of breed to accomplish their supply chain goals.
So let's say I'm a company and I'm getting ready to distribute, and I reach out to Ateliere. What does that look like? Is it a consultancy? Is there software deployment?
Sure.
How does that all look?
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of consultancy going forward because we really want to understand the problem that the customer is trying to solve. So it definitely starts with conversation, and for me, everything boils down to workflow and business outcomes, not technology. But from there, a big differentiator for us is we can move really fast. So as a cloud native solution, we're fully SaaS-based. We can be up and running in weeks or months and not years. And that's the sort of the big thing that we see, again, because of the business pressures. If you need to move quickly to maybe repurpose your library into an ad-based market and you're not ready for that, we can help you address that problem very quickly.
I feel like I could be completely wrong on this, but it seems like between lockdown in 2020 and then the strike, American audiences in particular have become a lot more tolerant of watching foreign content with subtitles and dubs. It seems like that's creating a greater access for content produced globally and not just the stuff in the US.
No, I think that's definitely true, and beyond sort of just, I guess, the space that created, I think the quality is there. I mean, you think about sort of the content coming out of South Korea is amazing. Eastern Europe as well. There's a lot of hot markets of great content, and I think what the globalized distribution capabilities allow people to do is to find those audiences, right? I don't think anyone necessarily saw Squid Game and thought it was going to become a global phenomenon.
Right, that's amazing.
Right, but being able to react quickly, right? You get that into market, maybe you're only going to localize 10 languages, now you got to get to 100. Like, how do you address that fast, right? If you can be nimble in your supply chain, you can take advantage of those business opportunities.
And obviously, AI is the buzzword in not just at NAB, but at any technology industry right now. So how does AI get incorporated in what you guys do currently?
Yeah, a bit of what I was mentioning before is we view it as creating that sort of cohesive solution and workflow. And so what we've done though is we need an approach because it's so vast. To your point, everything is AI, everything is either Gen AI or AI, and there's a million different solutions out there. So how do we put context? How do we put structure? So we've tried to break down the supply chain into sort of 4 major buckets, with the anchor and the North Star being about monetization, because that's at the end of the day what we're all here for, right, is to monetize that library. But you also have to worry about how do you get things into the supply chain. So how do we use AI to help organize libraries? Because a big problem that studios and other content owners have is you have this digital cruft and junk drawer of files that you've created over time. And you need to organize that data, you need to organize the metadata, and LLMs are great at dealing with these sort of disorganized data problems and recognizing video. So we've started to create some solutions on that front. And then once you have it in the library, how do you enrich it? So we're talking about like Respeecher or Speechmatics that can do localization, leveraging large language models. How do we leverage those tools to sort of fill gaps? So I've got these languages, I don't have these other languages, right? And I want to monetize, I know what deals I can do, how do I fill those gaps? And the last is on automation, right? How do I use Gen AI to do maybe dynamic workflows and things that I haven't done before and tied it in those ways so I don't have to take months to build something new.
And once you get into localization, I don't think people realize just the complexity of the matrix between different audio languages, different subtitles, and then even QAing whether those languages are correct, whether the titles are working. It's a mass. That's when things just start to mushroom out of control, right, in terms of the complexity of the task.
Absolutely, and also video as well, right? So when you start getting into the localization field, sometimes there's text in a picture, or there's a sign, and you want to localize it. Or maybe you have product placement deals that are different by territory, or you can't have product placement, and so you need to pull it out. So you end up with not just this matrix of audio and text, but also picture. And the picture and the video is where it really crushes you on cost. And so we've built this really cool AI-powered solution called Frame DNA that allows you to deduplicate and sort of reduce those versions. And we've seen savings of about 70 to 90% on the storage costs, and also much more organized inventory. So again, really enabling not just cost savings, but then the efficiency on the other side.
Well, great. So Ryan, if people want to get in touch with Ateliere and look at your solutions and if they're a fit for them, do you guys, if they're at NAB, do you have a booth or?
Absolutely. So we have 2 pods in the AWS Partner Village. We're also featured in their booth if you want to see an end-to-end supply chain working with us. And we have an amazing set of things that we're showing in terms of our new vision around Connect AI, our new AI-based Gen AI platform, and what we're doing on that front to revolutionize how we ingest and serve content.
Awesome. And I would just really reiterate, if the whole concept of supply chain, localization, everything is not on your radar, it really needs to be, because it's a huge forefront in terms of what it takes, as you said, to make it work in the business of filmmaking these days. So.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big thing to try to tackle on your own, and we think we have unique solutions that can deliver value quickly.
Well, thanks, Ryan. Really appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great show.
Thank you very much.